Alright, cool beans. Hope you guys did enjoy that small montage. I'm Hex. I'm going to be going over my open world stand-in build that I like to call Defender of Nature, where we harness the power of nature itself to soothe our wounds or vanquish our foes. As always, I'll have timestamps on screen down below if you're looking for anything specific, but without further ado, let's shock our way into the build. Alright, so for the first set we run is Essence Thief. I mean, Essence Thief is a very, very strong set. Like, I can't believe I've been sleeping on this set for the longest time, to be honest. What exactly does it do? 2-piece adds max stam, 3-piece adds max stam, 4-piece adds weapon and spell damage, 5-piece. Dealing damage with a light or heavy attack draws essence from the enemy that pulls near them for 5 seconds. Drawing from the pool heals you for X amount of health and restores over 4k stamina and increases your damage done by 10% for 10 seconds. A pool can only be created once every 10 seconds. So I mean, with this set, it basically not only gives you major berserk 10% more damage done, it also gives you some nice stam recap. It just gives you flat out over 4k stamina, just here you go. And it also gives you a small heal. Don't sleep on this set like I've been sleeping on it for the longest time. Next set we do run is Stage of Trickery. I don't think anyone could complain that Stage of Trickery is one of the best open world sets you can ever run in this game. What exactly does it do? 2-piece adds max health, 3-piece adds max stam, 4-piece adds max mag, 5-piece. When you deal damage, you gain 1 of 5 random major buffs for 21 seconds every 9 seconds. Eligible buffs are Major Expedition, increases movement speed by 30%. Major Mending, increases healing done by 16%. Major Vitality, increases healing received by 16%. Major Protection, reduces damage taken by 10%. Or my most favorite of them all, Major Heroism, generate 3 ultimate every 1.5 seconds. So yeah, like, I mean, all of these buffs are amazing. Really wish Major Evasion was in there, but I guess something has to be left out for this thing to be balanced somewhat. But for the most part, yeah, it is a roll of dice though, unfortunately. So what I mean by that is you can roll the same major buff twice. So like, let's say I proc a Major Expedition, and my next roll could be into the Major Expedition, and it just re-rolls it. Major Expedition permanently is one of the most broken things in the game. There's a reason that speed pops got nerfed into the ground, right? Who remembers that? Who remembers 2018 Somerset days with 3-piece Swift on your jewelry with Major Expedition pops that lasted 45 seconds, right? So, alright, so for our monster set, we do run Battlorgs. I mean, Battlorgs, come on, it needs no introduction. But to those that just love flattering Battlorgs, I'm one of them too. Let's just talk about it. 1-piece adds weapon and spell damage. 2-piece, when you use an ultimate ability, you gain weapon and spell damage equal to the amount of total ultimate consumed, and physical and spell penetration equal to 23 times the amount for 12 seconds. So this thing goes off how much total ultimate you have stored up, not how much the ultimate costs. So just for easy math, let's just say my Dawnbreaker costs 100 ultimate, but I have 500 ultimate banked. It's going to use my 500 ultimate, and that's what I love about this set. 500 weapon and spell damage and up to 11,500 penetration. Yeah, nuts, right? So yeah, Battlorgs, ever since you came out, you've been very powerful, and they just keep buffing you and buffing you, and I'm all for it. A very powerful but balanced monster set. Alright, so next we do run Training. So this is more of a front bar, back bar setup. I mean, Training, 1-piece adds 1454 maximum health. Very strong, very good. If we're gonna have one extra slot just available, why not just get extra health on there? You can run the other one. I think it's like Druid's Bane or Druid something. It does give you like 200 less health, so there is that. If you're strapped for cash, perfect alternative. Very nice. Always used up on back bar setups with mythics. Speaking about mythics, what is our mythic exactly? Well, our mythic is Markin. I just love Markin, honestly. I can't, I don't know, man. What exactly does it do? Gain 100 weapon and spell damage and 1157 armor for every set you are wearing at least 3 pieces of. Current bonus is 200 weapon and spell damage and 2314 armor. Not only does this give us just flat out weapon and spell damage, this gives us tankiness on top of it. Yes please, hello? Can I wear 2 of these please? But enough of that. Alright, so how do we run it? So for the front bar, we do run a Maul of Essence Thief. I really love Maul. Gives us up to 3300 penetration. Very solid. I do run a Berserker enchant. You could run whatever, but I feel like Berserker is just the best way to go. Not only does it give us a nice burst window, it also can, like, if we light attack on the front bar and if we want to bar swap, it will affect our heals for a little bit. So that's very good. I do run Sharpen. We're just double dipping into penetration because in PvP, penetration is keen for damage. Alright, so for the back bar, I do run a Sword and Board of Trickery. For the enchant, you can run whatever, or poison. Right now, I just put a double dot poison. And then for my shield, I do run, obviously, a Shield of Trickery. And I do run Impen with a max stam enchant. You could go Tri-Stat. I feel like max stam is the best option because when we do bar swap to our back bar, we want the most max stam to get the most heals we can on our back bar. So for the body, I run 5 heavy, 1 light, 1 medium. So for my heavy, I do run a heavy Balor's head and shoulders. And for my remaining heavy, I do run a heavy chest of trickery, feet, and legs. For my 1 medium, I do run a medium essence thief, hands. And for my 1 light, I do run a light sash of training. And for my traits, I do have 5 impen, 1 reinforced, and 1 well fitted. So for my reinforced, you want a heavy reinforced chest. Please, heavy reinforced chest. This is the way to mid-max. For my well fitted, I have a sash of the training, and then the rest is all impen. You could add more well fitted if you want. It's up to you personally. You could go like 3-3-1, 3 well fitted, 3 impen, 1 reinforced. Either one's fine. You know, this is what I like about builds. We can all just change it to how we want to play the build or what we need. So for my jewelry, I do run an essence thief neck and ring, and obviously a marking ring because marking only comes in a ring. Duh. So for my essence thief jewelry, I do run infused weapon damage enchant, 1 tri-stat recove. You could go either one. You could go just a full stam recove or a full weapon damage and just pump the most damage. Up to you. Alright, let's go over to our pots. Pretty simple. Just regular old tripods. Honestly, there's not much. If you really wanted a min-max, you could use heroism pots that grant minor heroism, magic, and stamina. But those things are pretty pricey, so... Alright, so for the food, I do run Orzovkas. Orzovkas, I mean, is one of the best foods in the entire game right now. It's been meta since the whole hybridization, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Have you ever wondered why Perfect Row is so expensive? It's because of this food right here. What exactly does it do? Increases max health by over 4,300, and if you ever wanted to hear a joke, grants you some health recovery. Increases your stamina and magical recovery by 369 for 2 hours. So it gives you max health, but gives you recover of everything else, which is very, very strong, which is why everyone runs this food. Obviously, if you can't afford this food, you can always just run Jewels of Misrule. It's exactly the same. It's basically the purple version. It gives you slightly less health and slightly less recover, and it doesn't give you any health recovery, which doesn't really matter. If you are strapped for cash or the other food is too expensive, this food is just perfectly fine. You won't even notice it. But enough of that. Let's go over the skills now. Alright, so for the first skill we do run is Fetcher Infection. Puts a dot on him. Don't really care about that. What we really do care about is that the Fetcher Flies rip through the enemy's flesh, afflicting them with minor vulnerability for the duration. Increases their damage taken by 5%. On-demand minor vol on the target. So strong. Very good. Next we do run Bird of Prey. I don't even understand how this thing even exists right now, but it does. What exactly does it do? Invoke the Spirit of Agility to gain Major Expedition for 6 seconds. Increases your movement speed by 30%. While slotted, you gain Minor Berserk, increasing your damage done by 5%. And as a Lost Death, I can't believe this, they added this, but thank you so much, Lost. Gain immunity to snares and immobilization effects for 4 seconds. That's right. This skill just is your snare immunity now. Next we do run Executioner. This is basically just our execute. Next we do run Defisher. This is basically our burst. Stir up a group of shock that attacked after 3 seconds, dealing X amount of magic damage to you in front of you. After the shock complete their attack, they burrow underground for 6 seconds and then resurface again, dealing more X amount of magic damage to enemies in front of you. I didn't know the second round actually did more damage. Good to know. Enemies' damage are afflicted with major and minor breach, reducing their physical and spell penetration by nearly 10,000. This is the reason I keep coming back to Warden. Your burst also gives you a lot ton of pen. Next we do have Dizzy Swing. This is basically our spammable. Slam an enemy with an upward swing, dealing X amount of physical damage. Next we run Dawnbreaker or Smiting. Honestly, Dawnbreaker is one of the best ultimates and most fun ultimates to run in this game. Arm yourself with Meridia's Sacred Sword and dispense her Retribution, dealing a lot of physical damage to enemies in front of you, and an additional lot of physical damage over 6 seconds and stunning them for 2 seconds. Does a lot of burst damage, puts a nasty dot on them, but most important, stuns them for 2 seconds. Very good, very solid. And not only that, it also benefits from juicy Fighter's Guild passives. Slayer increases your weapon and spell damage by 3% for each Fighter's Guild ability slotted. Banish the Wicked, you generate 3 ultimate whenever you kill an enemy. And Skill Tracker for our Dawnbreaker Smiting. Your Fighter's Guild abilities deal an additional 10% damage. This bonus doubles against player vampires and werewolves. Alright, so for the back bar we do run Lotus Blossom. Embrace the Lotus Blessing, costing your light attacks to heal for X amount of health, and your fully charged heavy attacks to restore triple the amount of health to you or a nearby ally for 1 minute. But the most importantly, while active, you gain Major Prophecy and Savagery, increasing your spell and weapon crit by 12%. Next we do run Ice Fortress. This is basically our armor buff. Next we do run Resolve and Vigor. Obviously, this is our strong burst hot. Heal a lot of health over 5 seconds, but most importantly, as a Lost Deaths, after casting you gain minor resolve, increasing your physical and spell resist by almost 3k for 20 seconds. Next we do run Blue Betty. Honestly, you could run either morph. If you are struggling on sustain for Stam, just switch to the Stam morph and you'll be perfectly fine. Next we do run Polar Wind. I run Polar Wind, I just really like the hot. The other morph puts a stun on them instead of a hot. Next I do run Permafrost. Very strong ultimate. I can't believe this thing still exists. Alright, but enough of that. Let's go over the stat sheets now. Alright, so for the stat sheets, we do have over 15,000 Magicka. Very good. Our max health is at 38.1k. Oh, very juicy. Our max stam is just 26k stam. What more can you add? Our mag recov is just a little over 1900. Health recovery is a joke to read. Stam recovery is just shy of 1500. So our weapon damage is just shy of 4500. So powerful, so good. Our weapon crit is just shy of 25%. And our physical and spell pain is at 11.1k. No battle orgs. So good. And it doesn't include the fact that we can put major and minor breach. So put in an extra 9k on top of that. So we're at 20k. And our battle orgs can go up to an extra like 11.5. So we can basically get up to like 30k pen basically. So on the back bar, let's just check our buffs. We do have 32.6k spell resist and just shy of 32k physical resist. What are these stats? Oh, I mean seriously. And crit resist is at 2733. Just so good. Alright, for the attributes, I do run 24 points into health and 40 points into stamina. The more health we have, the more we can benefit from minor toughness and the more intimidating we look. So for the race, I am an Imperial. Please, for this build, for any Stam, Imperial is so powerful. Tough, increases your max health by 2k. Imperial Metal increases your max Stam by 2k. But most importantly, Red Diamond reduces the cost of all your abilities by 6%. This includes ultimates. So our abilities and ultimates cost 6% less. So this is the most powerful sustaining passive in the entire game, universally. Matches with Decisive to generate even faster ultimates. So we're just able to rip Dawnbreakers left and right with this passive. I am a stage 3 vampire, obviously. I mean, every build should always be a stage 3 vampire. Mostly just there for the undeath passive. While being at least vampire stage 3, reduces your damage taken by up to 30% based on your missing health. So for the Mundus, I do run the Atro. It's funny because we only have 3 skills that cost Stam, 6 that cost magic, and the one that's just free. Thank you. Thank you, Zos, for giving us a free skill that gives us back resources. But yeah, if you really wanted to, if you were having struggle on the sustain, I would switch to the Stam niche first. And if that's just too much for you, then I would just switch to the Serpent. But enough of that, let's go over the CP now. Alright, so let's go over the CP. Pretty simple. For the blue CP, I do run Focus Men, increases your healing done with single target heals by up to 10%. Master at Arms increases your damage done with direct damage attacks by up to 6%. Ironclad reduces your damage taken by up to 6% from direct damage attacks. And most importantly, Resilience grants you up to 660 critical resistance, which is equivalent to 10% damage mit from crit attacks. For the red CP, we do run Celerity, increases your movement speed by 10%, honestly the best CP in the entire game. Survival Instincts, while afflicted with a status effect, your core combat skills cost 25% less. Relentlessness, being stunned or feared causes you to gain major protection for 3 seconds, reducing your damage taken by 10%. And next, Pain's Refuge, reduces your damage taken by 2% for every 2 negative effects active on you, up to a maximum of 20%. And for the green CP, doesn't really matter. Rationer, Gifted Rider, Steve's Blessing, and what's the other one? I don't have it on this tune for some reason. And Liquid Efficiency if you can. Alright, but enough of that. Let's go over the combo rotation now. Alright, so for the combo rotation, pretty simple. Not very hard. So obviously you want to buff up. The good thing about Warden's skills is they last a long time. Like this flower buff lasts 60 seconds. Our armor lasts 30. The natural lasts 25 seconds. So we're going to go over the first combo rotation. Basically, there are 2 combos. There's the initial combo where you're just trying to see if you can burst someone down real quick with the initial shocks. And then there's the second one where this one, the shock does even more damage. So for the initial one, basically all you do is buff up. So basically it's pretty simple. All you do is you're going to light attack them to get the little essence. And after that you're going to shulk, Fletcher Flies, D-Swing, Donnie. There you go. And that should be the combo right there. So, but if you really want to burst somebody, the hardest hitting one you can, you just basically what you do is you just kite around for a bit. You just catch your shulks. They're going to go off, right? So we're keeping an eye on the timer. We're at 6 seconds, right? Once it hits 3 seconds, we're going to Fletcher Flies, D-Swing, and then uppercut right after, and there you go. That should be the hardest hitting ultimate right there you can hit. So pretty easy, not very much to talk about. What I do love about the Warden is just like, the buffs just last so long. Like, it's crazy. And plus, you have one of the coolest skills in the entire game. The Falcon Swiftness, like the Warden Wings, like one of the coolest skills in the entire game. So with Essence Thief, when you do light attack them, they drop this pool. All you do is just walk over it, and there you go. Now you have basically major berserk, and you get a small heal, and you get like over 4k stamina. Alright, so for the alternatives, there is only one alternative. The only thing I would change out for this build is if you were having a little sustain issues. If you don't want to think about your sustain, you don't want to think, you just want to have fun, you can always just swap out Danger Trickery for Wretched Vitality. And honestly, this will give you the most sustain you would ever imagine in your life. Like I talked earlier, Wretched Vitality is just so strong. 2-piece Mag Recov, 3-piece Stam Recov, 4-piece Weapon Spell Dam, 5-piece. While in combat, applying a major buff or debuff to a target grants you 260 magic and stamina recovery for 15 seconds. And same thing, when applying a minor buff, you gain 130 magic and stamina recovery while in combat for 15 seconds. So this little skill right here, Ice Fortress, gives us major resolve and minor protection. So if we cast this skill, we proc that whole set. We almost get 400 recoup from the set. So for this one, just swap out Trickery for Wretched Vitality. So everything of Trickery, just swap it out for Wretched Vitality. So the chest, the legs, and the feet, and the sorting board for Wretched Vitality, and you will be perfectly just fine. Very good on the sustain. If you do run that route, I would recommend going to Markin with infused weapon damage. So I mean, Warden, I can't believe you're back. I mean, Wardens for the longest time have been dead. Wardens, when they first came out, were the most broken thing in existence. Wardens slowly just got nerfed and nerfed into obscurity, and as of right now, Wardens are back with a vengeance. Like, a lot of these skills used to cost so much, it's all cheap, but the thing that mainly brought Warden back to me, the reason I wanted to try Warden, was because your Bird of Prey, this ability you always had slotted, now gives you snare immunity. So the fact that you get just a bunch of buffs, like what, you get 1k, almost 1k pen for each animal companion ability slotted, okay, and then for the back bar, you get almost 1,000 armor for each Winter's Embrace ability slotted. And like every skill, I'm just going to say right now, every skill of Warden is just bloated. Put the dot on them and puts minor vuln, okay. Bird of Prey, Major Expedition for 6 seconds. The Rule Breaker whenever it's supposed to give you 4 seconds. While slotted gains minor berserk and gains snare immunity and mobilization for 4 seconds. It also gives you 1k pen for being slotted. Deep Fissure, a nice burst that you can do on demand, and puts almost 10k pen on the target, and you get 1k pen for having a slot. Yeah, you can see where this is going. Warden, honestly, it's just fun. It really is. And that's another thing. The Warden kit feel like a different class. You feel like you're unique. To those that used to play Stam Sorks before the whole hybridization, was that Sorks, Stam Sorks, they had no class identity. You were literally just a hybrid build. You literally ran all like 2H abilities with Streak, and that was literally your whole build. You literally have 6 Warden abilities. Oh wait, no. You have, oh wow, you have 7 Warden abilities. That's what you call a class right there. That's what you call fun. Feel like you're a Warden. You feel like you're the defender of nature itself. You feel like you're using nature to either soothe your wounds or vanquish your foes. The downsides, I really can't think of any down. The only downside is that you are using Dizzy Swing. So if you don't want to use Dizzy Swing, it kind of does suck. But there is a spammable here called Dive. You could use that if you want. Or you could use the Vampire Blood for Blood. Not Blood for Blood, don't use that one. Arterial Burst, my bad. Really good. I mean, it feels nice using Dizzy and Swing after a while too. It feels just perfect with the Warden, to be honest. So yeah, feels great, feels amazing. I really can't think of any downsides for this class. Like, I really can't. For the ranking for the Warden, solid S tier. Easy S tier. Could I give it an S plus tier? Honestly, I could. Warden though feels like a Warden. You use Warden abilities. You feel unique. It feels great. Alright, cool beans. Warden, honestly, I can't believe what they did to you. They made you so strong. Like the video if you liked it. Comment your thoughts or experiences with the build. Also, anything I might have missed out, what video I should do next. Subscribe for more. Hope you do enjoy the rest of the small montage. But most importantly, stay zerging.